Please. Oh my God, you have fans here. Is anybody else from Lithuania here? Make some noise. I think Lithuania is the second biggest foreign delegation to this wonderful forum. It's 600 people. We're running, and we're so delighted to have you at the forum. Welcome to Helsinki, welcome to the Nordic Business Forum. And you know, at the Nordic Business Forum, we always have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And I am plan B. My dearest friend, Morten Mikos, was supposed to come in here, but he lost his voice. That happens. But we're always ready to help a friend, and it's so nice to be here with you. And to go through this amazing, inspiring story of a unicorn. It was valued just last year at 5 billion euros. 800, I mean, this is incredible. 5 billion euro unicorn, 800 million in turnover last year. And this is your baby that you were born in Lithuania when it was still part of the Soviet Union. And now, you know, this entrepreneur extraordinaire. Tell us a little bit about your early life and how that formed you to want to solve problems like this.
Well, usually when I get this question, everyone expects me that, oh, I always dreamed about to be a business person, be in business, run a business. So the truth is that this was opposite of being in business. So I never imagined myself in business. I never imagined I can create something big. I was always from my childhood, because I was born in Soviet Union, I was actually the opposite. I don't know how many people here are from Soviet Union, usually it was you're born, you're taught not to be different, not to ask inappropriate questions, just be like everyone else. So it was I think that was the beginning for me, and actually that was the challenge. Then I started Vinted, because then you need to, instead of being invisible, you need to switch to being visible, and for me that was a challenge. I think that I overcome that. I was always thinking about, maybe I will study, and I did, culture management. Maybe I will manage some musicians in my life. Maybe I will be a manager in a museum or something. So that was my vision for the future. But it didn't happen like that, so I ended up in somewhere else.
Well, we're not sorry. I mean, this is what a beautiful start in life. But if we look at how you started the business per se, this is 2008.
2008.
You really zeroed into a specific problem that you had, and building that business. What were the first steps?
Just maybe, then you say building business. For us, it wasn't the business. So
it was friends exchanging clothes, right?
I had a problem. I have lots of clothing, and I need to get rid of them. And that's my problem that no one is solving. So if no one is solving, so it means that I need myself to do that. So that was the reason. And actually, for the first 3 or 4 years, I didn't see this as a business, even despite some success in Germany, in Czech Republic. I think that Justas and I, we never started Vinted as, with a monetization strategy. It was more about, we have an issue, we need to solve that, and how to do that. And, I was 21, so I had almost zero experience in business, in people management, in building strategies, in running business, so nothing. And sometimes it helps then you have some failures in startups. In my case, it was somehow I succeeded with the first startup, and I didn't have such experience, to compare. But what we did, so then you are young, you don't have any experience. So what you do, you don't pretend that you know how to run business. So what personally I decided to do, so I just called to each member who signed up for the Vinted platform, and I said, hello, can we go for a coffee? And it was each week I would meet about 20, 30 people, members of Vinted, and I would ask, what do you like about Vinted? What kind of features would you like? So at the beginning we launched just a catalog without a reference system, without any size filters, color filters, like it was zero. It was like very, very empty. And the first 3-4 years, well, actually, Vinted was shaped by members. So, we decided not to pretend that we know how to run business. Instead, just go and ask members what they want. And I would, each month I would go, I would meet members. I would make the list of features that they would love. I would check, what is the most wanted, and I would go to Justas and Justas, this is the list that our members want. And this is how we continued for 2-3 years like that. So members actually built Vinted, not us. I was just the intermediate for getting information from them, and that's it.
That's fabulous, and it goes to what Zukander told us about, being where the magic is, and the magic is where the people who love what you do actually want to tell you, "I love you because," and then you do more of that.
Or I hate you because.
Or
it's also
that's
very
even
important.
probably more important. I hate it. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But tell us about your co-founders and Justas, and how did you find him also in the same methodology, or how did you find him?
Oh, since there are lots of Lithuanians, so I guess most of them, they know the story, but actually Vinted was born by accident in a party. Same as our first global market, Germany, was also born in a party. So it's, actually I was,
Parties are great to start a business.
Actually, the first 3-4 years were shaped by parties of Vinted, so I guess it's go to parties because they might give may leave some significant stories behind. But yeah, there was a station where I moved from second biggest city, Kaunas, to Vilnius, and I was invited to the housewarming party, and I met Justas there, and they said at 2 a.m. in the morning, I have the problem. I just moved to from my mother's apartment to a 3 times smaller apartment. And because I couldn't rent and I couldn't afford to have bigger apartment, and my stuff doesn't fit in my closet, so I decided I want to get rid of my stuff. And they said, who goes off to sell these things offline because it's too old-fashioned way. And I said I want to make an online platform. And Justas said, okay, let's do it together. At the beginning, he was very skeptic because he said so, but who's gonna sell lots of things, because he said, so how many pair of shoes you have? And I said, well, just for autumn, I have 10 pair of shoes. And for him, it's seriously? And for him, it was,
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah, and he, to that housewarming party, he came with a trash bag, put pants, clothing and everything. And he said everything fits in this bag. And he couldn't believe that. So in that party, he just ran through all the ladies and asked how many pair of shoes you have, how many t-shirts you have, and then all of them answered. I was no, Justas, okay, let's do it together because I think that we had an issue. So this is by accident how we started, and in 2 weeks we launched Vinted.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from the launch, what were the hardest first lessons in running the business proper? From what I read is that you were the CEO at first, and then marketing, and then it went into other roles. But
well, then you do startups, so you are everything. You are cleaning lady. You are a strategy creator and everything. So I think that the most important thing was, it was 2008. I don't know how it was in Finland. I don't know how it was in other countries, but in Lithuania, it was...
Financial crisis hit us all. I mean, we all remember that. Yeah.
But also, if you talk about startups, what does it mean, startup? There is no ecosystem. And, I would go to traditional business and to ask, how do you run things? How do you manage processes? But for them, the answer, you are who? How you earn money? And I say, we don't earn money. We just, we just spend money. And for them, it's
Sounds familiar.
And you feel bye-bye because, you are not business. And they treat you like you are not business because at that time, startup mindset, wasn't there. So I guess the key challenge was, you just feel super lonely. And you go and, if you feel lonely. And the second layer was, you sell what? Secondhand. And secondhand had super bad stigma at that time. It was you buy secondhand because you don't have money.
That's right.
And it was sustainability. What? What kind of sustainability? So it was you feel lonely because you don't have support from other businesses. Let's talk and share experience. But the other thing, like then you come with a pitch that, oh, I sell secondhand. And it's like, no, oh, go home because it's like secondhand is not business. So it was two layers that at the beginning made us feel super lonely.
Yeah.
But somehow
but you're part of that transformation in all of our minds. That secondhand is cool. It's not secondhand.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's pre-loved. I love these words. It's pre-loved.
Pre-loved, yeah.
And, there's the storytelling in all of this, and the change of culture, and you actually studied culture at the university, and then you created an amazing culture. Tell us about the culture building, the team building of the company.
It was at the beginning. It happened by accident, I would say, because then you are a startup and you don't have your own way, you have money for, I don't know, 6 months to survive, like in your bank account. And you would go to hire people and they would say, again, what? But it's I have some loans, I have mortgage and everything, and I cannot come to join your team. So for us, it was kind of frustrating to hire any senior developers. Because not even developers, or some strategists and everything, marketing people, and because they would say no, I don't know who you are, and but we ended up with very different cultured people, because instead of people who are looking for safety, we managed to attract people who said, I don't want to do things that are described in my role. I want to build from scratch, and I want to come, as an employee, but I want to feel as a founder. And
that's great.
And I think that worked for us, that we managed to build a team that, they're super okay with the unknown, and super okay, let's change our strategy after 1 month, after 2 months, and they're okay with that because they accept and tolerate that we don't know how to run business. I think that also Justas and I, we had kind of inner agreement that, we used to work in traditional companies and we saw the culture there, and we said, we can do it better. We want to have some, we want some horizontal relationship with people, especially that you don't have any experience in doing business. Yeah. So what we decided, Justas and I, not decided, it was intuitively done. We are not afraid to admit that we don't know that we don't know. So that's why we said, let's hire the team who are equal to us, and it's okay for us to say, we need marketing strategy, but we don't know how to do it. Let's do it together. And it was okay for them. And I guess that also, that transparency and also kind of humbleness created that, that everyone wasn't afraid from the team. No one was afraid to come with new ideas and to share those ideas. So I think that, the first 20, 30 people, I would call them founders, because they most of them contributed as well equally as we did.
They created Vinted with you. And another thing that I admire, and I think many people admire in your story, is that during all this, you're building a multi-billion-euro company in the making, and you have 4 children at home, and I believe, and you told me this, and it's okay to say that you have a 5th one coming.
5th boy in the row.
Isn't that wonderful? I mean, tell us a little bit about work-life balance. How did you manage all of this?
I don't pretend. Well, maybe it's not very popular I shouldn't say that, but I don't believe in balance at once. I believe in chapters. And so, my mantra is, I had Vinted chapter, I was all in, I was 200% there. Then I decided, maybe it's time for family, and my partner and I said, no, 1, 2 kids, but if I leave business, it doesn't count, for 1 or 2 kids. So maybe let's make more. So
doesn't count. I have 2 kids. They count.
So we said, so let's make it count. So we decided 4 or 5 kids in a row. Yeah. So we hope some girls in that journey. It was, now we have 0 girls and just boys, but it's done. It's done. 5 boys is okay.
Well, so you know how to do that.
I will be a princess. No.
Definitely. We're so happy, but what about mentoring and perhaps even looking at as you were letting go? It's been almost 8 years now, or even more, 9 years since you left the company. And looking at your own path and letting go from this, we just saw that people are different. People are good at the startup phase. Most people here in the growth phase, and then but how do you let go? Tell us about that process.
There's one colleague, Victoria, from the team here, and we had a conversation last week. So I said, it took me after leaving, it took me 7 years. So it happened just last year. I could admit that I could survive without my Vinted email. So to let go, it takes time, because even after stepping down from active role, I still spent 7 years still felt that I'm still there. So I still don't feel that I left. So it's well, it's my baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have more babies, and so it's but anyway, it was a tough decision, and it wasn't very easy. But it's for us, it was as I said, my decision is to live by chapters. And I want to do 200% there, 200% there. But sometimes to combine both of them at the same time, it's very difficult. So that's why it was one of the decisions. Well, let's leave. And it was the same. When is the right time to have kids? Well, never. Never.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's and then it's too late. So so that's why it was just a tough decision. But I had to make it. So.
But if you had to look back at that chapter, as you call it. How would you describe your leadership style when you were at Vinted?
I think that at the beginning, Justas and I, then we started to create Vinted culture. It somehow reflected our culture, because you don't know how to run company professionally. So usually, what you do, just you act how you feel, and I think that that's how we managed to attract people who are similar to us. So or who tolerate our leadership style. And what kind of leadership style it was, I would say, for us, transparency was number one. For us, it was, even right now, the company shares all the information, all the board updates, and on all the future strategic moves early in advance with all the people, because it's trust. So we build company on trust. The other thing is, again, I will repeat myself, but we don't pretend that we know. And I'm here, and I will tell you what to do. If I don't know, I can tell that I don't know, and I can ask for help. So I think that this is also one of the leadership things that happened. But I think that most of all, it was we managed to, and the leadership style was, and the thing is that we all here because we want to make the impact. And if you want to make an impact, so we are contributors together, and you don't treat people like somehow something less valuable, more valuable. It's just you treat people equally. So I think that was our leadership style, and also we said that company can be scalable only if all levels of the company employees they feel ownership, because otherwise if you are the bottleneck at the company, so the company will move that fast as you alone. But if you upgrade all the levels in the company who get ownership, who get power and control to take actions and to take decisions and to solve the problems, so I think that you are it's a multiplicator of being scalable. It just increases. So you just get more scalable. So our leadership style was just empower, give freedom, and so that people wouldn't get the instruction how to deal with a problem, but they would find their own instructions how to solve the problem.
We're getting some really cool questions now through the app, and I love this one. Thank you for the idea. There should be a new poll. How many are wearing something Vinted or pre-loved today? How many? Give yourselves a hand. Beautiful. This is a transformation in thinking. When you started, it was something that nobody wanted to do, just something that we embrace for our sustainability. That is a huge contribution. But let's talk about your next steps and what you're doing now and all the important work. And looking at our society today and the impact you've had on society, what's the next impact you want to have?
Well, there are lots of topics. As I said, media always tries to describe me as a business person, and I hate this definition because I am everything but not a business person. And I'm okay. I'm curious in numbers. I'm curious in strategy, in building strategy, in solving issues. But I feel more about I want to tackle the problem and find a solution. So I would say I identify myself more as a creator at the super early stage. So, and then I got some kids. So naturally you start to think about other generations, like what you're gonna leave after yourself.
Exactly.
And for me it was, no secret, education is like the big pain point. I guess it's not only in Lithuania, I guess it's everywhere.
Everywhere. Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's like, I realized, okay, I can sit, I can complain that, no one is doing anything. And I was like, no.
But not you.
But instead of, maybe I will fail, maybe my project in education will fail. But at least I know that I tried. Well, if I failed, it's okay. But if I succeeded, so it means I made the impact. So my next big topic is education, kids education, because I think that it needs drastic changes. Society is changing, and still traditional education system is too fat, too old. Well, it's, if you're too big and too important, for you it's very hard to change. So that's why I still believe that changes will come from the private sector. And that's why, because for private sector it's much easier to innovate, to iterate, because you just risk it with a small scale of kids. So I do some experimentation with kids.
Well, you have a lot, so.
So that's why I still believe that private sector will be the leader, and then public sector will follow. But now I'm trying to do some impact in how to make learning process more interesting, and how to make just kids love math.
Oh,
and
yes.
Just to be smart.
Can you talk to my kids? That's beautiful. Hey, we would have time for a question from colleagues. Anybody would like to ask a question? We have one in the front row. If we have one of our microphone runners. There you are. You're running beautifully. You should have been running with us this morning.
Iron Man.
So right here in the front, in the very front row. Sir, tell us who you are and your question, please. Yeah.
My name is Jacob Sondergaard, and I help executives thrive mentally and physically. So, how big part was physical and mental health during your tough chapter?
Oh, bad.
She would have needed your help.
No. Let's be more polite, challenging.
What was your biggest challenge?
I think that it was, I would name quite a few challenges. One of the things is like burnout, because I think that it's like, everyone speak about the balance, life balance, working balance, reaching aiming high and so on. So for me, the truth is that there were quite a few moments in my Vinted life that I had some doubts and some thoughts about leaving the company. And one of the reasons was burnout. And for us, as a founder, you always need to, you still believe in mission, vision, everything. Everything is in place. But your brain and body, don't catch up with that anymore because you're lagging behind. And I guess that, one of the biggest risks for founders, you expect from them extra mile, always, not 80%, not 100%, but you would expect 200%. And with the burnout, you feel, I'm at the 50%. So I think that was one of the biggest challenge. And, what started as a bad emotion, I somehow managed to convert that to, let's make it at the turning point, because now I don't see burnouts as a very bad thing. Well, it's not pleasure. It's not not a big pleasure, but I see this as as a way to invent how I work. And well, each time about 2-3 times I had real big burnouts, and it was like, I always said to myself, okay, I need to cut all of my routines. I need to reschedule and to rethink what is my role, how I do it. And instead of, and usually it helps you to find inefficiencies where you spend too much time, but it's not needed. So that's why I was, and always had in maybe help for myself. I used to say, I have a plan B, I always can leave. And then you say that to yourself, it kind of frees you from any bold decisions, because you can decide, so I have freedom to do cut all the routine, cut all the meetings, because otherwise I will leave. So for me, it's every time all the burnouts, they were turning point to grow. So it's painful, but sometimes pain is needed to take drastic decisions to grow. So
pain is the source of growth. And thank you for sharing these unbelievable stories with us. They're so inspiring. How many of you here would want to invest in her new education startup? Anybody? 7,500 people. Thank you so much. You're a big hand. Milda Mitkutė.